Well, good afternoon. If it's Mondays, 3 o'clock Eastern Time, it's Mondays with Michael live here on Facebook. Hoping everyone had a great weekend. Nice cool weekend here if you're in the DC metro area. Really nice cool weekend. Got outside for a little bit of a ride, so it's definitely good walking, running, outdoor bike weather. So definitely get outside. Letting the scruff go in a little bit. What do you think? Give me some feedback. Not sure if I'm going to let it go in a little more, but I'm going to kind of go on and off with this for the duration of the COVID. So, but thanks for coming in, hanging out. If you're watching this post session, thanks for checking us out. You can see more of our Mondays with Michael live on our Facebook page on YouTube. Go to trainingsolutions.com, scroll down to the YouTube channel. I have about 100 of these on all different topics on HR, leadership, training, and some thoughts about COVID as we go through this kind of semi-lockdown. So go check it out. So today's session is about doing a fairly large group, I would say, 35 folks in a Zoom training class a couple weekends ago. I normally do a retreat for a community leadership group every fall, every September, and they usually have about 50 attendees. This year the attendees are a bit smaller, but they wanted to try to bring the classroom experience to Zoom. So we had to try to put together a 3.5 hour training program delivered to 35 people via Zoom. So that was our challenge. So I have some notes for you about what we did and how we did it. And if you're planning on doing it, I would maybe go down this road. We actually were pretty successful. We got good feedback at the end. I got good feedback from the staff. So let's talk about it. So like anything you do in the class or anything you do on Zoom, whether you're parsing it or slicing it, you always have to think about the participant experience. Is the participant experience going to be a really great one? Because as you're putting these together, you always need to think, even if you're in the class, we got to think about the participant experience. What is the participant experience going to look like? So we put that forward, put that first. And then we had a couple planning sessions. We actually had 2 planning sessions with staff. We took the entire classroom experience and we went through it section by section, activity by activity, and we decided what would fit in the virtual world and what wouldn't fit in the virtual world. And we came to find out that quite a bit what could fit into the virtual world. Now this was a DISC program, so we used Workplace with this particular group. So one of the most important things was having the class prepared before they actually came to the Zoom. So very important for everyone to take the assessment, complete the assessment, print off the assessment because we do a lot of working in the assessment. So make sure the assessment was print off. We also use the handouts, make sure everybody had a set of handouts. So they were prepared as much for the day itself. Another thing we did during the preparation process is we employed the services of a producer. And I cannot tell you how important a producer was, someone who really knew Zoom really, really well to kind of help us do the back end of this. And not only was she a great producer during the process, but she was also a great producer live, that during the actual Zoom session, we also had breakout rooms. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We had monitors in the breakout rooms, but the producer was always producing. It's very important that your producer always produces, sending people off, bringing people back, letting them know how much time is left in the breakout room. So having a full-time producer definitely helped. The other thing we required was to keep the cameras on. So it's very important when you're doing these, whether they're small or large group sessions, is to make sure the camera is on the participant. It's very important to keeping them engaged, and by doing that, the camera's on. They tend to be more attentive, they tend to be more focused, they won't go off the camera most of the time and start clicking around doing other things. And this was a learning session, so they were fairly engaged because we kept them engaged. We kept doing things along the way. We had video we showed along the way. We had activities we did along the way. They did assessment work along the way. That standard rule of having somebody do something every 8 minutes in the classroom, you can take that to the virtual world too. You can take that to the virtual world too. So we had multiple breakouts throughout the 3.5 hours. We broke them in groups of 7 or 8 at a time. We broke them in groups of 2 or 3 at a time, but we were able to use the Zoom technology is great. We were predetermined rooms that we had used because we separate folks in DIS and C. So we had predetermined rooms we used. We also had kind of scattered rooms, just send them off and wherever they end up is fine. And then we had them in small groups, like 2 or 3 in a group toward the end doing action planning. So having them in groups was very, very important. We had 2 breaks during the whole session. So we went through module 1. We took a 10-minute break. We got up and walked around a little bit. We did a little more work, and then we took another 5-minute break. So it's good if you're going to do this 3.5 hour training session is to set up breaks along the way, coffee breaks, maybe put a little music in the background, but definitely set up breaks along the way. Very, very, very important. We have participants use whiteboards. We also have participants build things on within their small groups on screen, and we gave them the ability to share their work either via bulletin board, or some of them just use regular white documents, and then we had them share their documents because we do some things in the breakout rooms. We have questions for them. We have things they do, pictures we want them to do because that's how we do disc. So those things were brought back to the large group, and then we actually gave individuals the ability to share that information. One little tip I found, and I found this out with Zoom from my producer, is within the Zoom technology, you can click something that says share your PC sound. So instead of just listening to the sound through the microphone in your PC, you can actually have the sound go through your PC to the Zoom participants. And that worked really well. So if you're not using that technology, definitely use that. Definitely use that technology. So in our in our disc training classes, believe it or not, we have people sing. So we even did the singing exercise. So those of you who have experienced my disc sessions, you know that we have participants sing along the way. And so we got them to sing, and it was pretty cool to see these groups via Zoom, sing their disc songs. So it was really really cool. It was a lot of fun to see. As always, we want to do some action planning. So toward the end, we did some action planning. So we broke them down again into their small groups. They had a chance to action plan a little bit, share their action plans with their groups. Um, we were able to take questions along the way, as I always do. I always stop along the way. People were, use the raise your hand feature. They were able to chat in. It's very good to have the producer, because as people were chiming in questions, it was good to have her, kind of read them back to me. I mean, I could see them, but have them read them back to me and take them one at a time. Um, so very, very important on the preparation side, both on the technical side, but on the delivery side, it's very important, and I learned this from a couple of colleagues of mine. It's very, very important, if you're going to deliver this size group via Zoom or some type of web technology, and you're on camera, you need to be energized. You need to be excited. I'm not saying that if you fall on different parts of the disk model, you can't deliver this, but whatever part of the disk model you're on, you need to be excited when you're delivering via Zoom technology or any type of remote technology. I mean, people can sense that when you're in the room face to face, and if I'm in front of the room, people can sense I'm excited about the program. But I really made an effort, and I hope it came through. I think it came through that I was excited about what I was teaching. I was motivated. I always throw quips and jokes along the way about the 4 styles. I mean, there's kind of funny things I say along the way. I made sure I incorporated all those. So make sure that you're really energized about this 3.5 hours. I mean, I was pretty much on the nap the rest of the day, but it was pretty awesome delivering it. And then again, at the end, you want to thank all the producers. Thank the producer. We had room monitors along the way, so you definitely want to thank your room monitors along the way. It's very, very important to thank folks along the way. I did debrief briefly with staff via email, just to kind of quick sense of them how it was. Really got good feedback. So I'm pretty comfortable doing this moving forward. So we do have some other things coming up along the line via delivery of disk and other programs. And though I was hesitant on using Zoom and other technologies, but I was wondering how it's all going to play out. And I'm here to tell you that it worked out great. Not that I had a little bit of anxiety, but you never know going to something new with that larger group. I've done some smaller groups. I've facilitated some meetings, but this is my first shot at really delivering 3.5 hours of training via Zoom with a large group. And it's all about preparation and planning. It's all about having a good team on the back end. It's all about putting the participant first and their experience first, and making sure your program meets the participant experience. So that's about it today. I'm going to be live again next week. We're going to be live. I'm trying to be live all month. We've built a nice little program here we think you're going to be happy with. Check out our website, trainingsolutions.com. A lot of free previews. We have a lot of online training that we're offering folks. So please check that out. A couple new on the COVID you may want to check out on the homepage. But we'll see you next Monday. Mondays with Michael live here on Facebook. Go out and make it a great week and enjoy the weather. Get outside.